Hello students, welcome to today's session. Lesson 10, Osgood and Wilbur Schramm's model of communication. Objectives: understand the key principles of Osgood's circular model and Wilbur Schramm's interactive model of communication. Explore Osgood's concepts such as message transformation, feedback and the importance of context in communication. Examine Schramm's interactive model emphasizing the reciprocal nature, field experience and the dynamic role of both sender and receiver. Identify similarities between Osgood and Schramm's model, including the cyclical nature, feedback, importance and recognition of subjectivity in interpretation. Apply Osgood's model to digital communication contexts such as social media, email marketing and online reviews. Implement Schramm's model in digital environment. Appreciate the importance of Schramm's model in interactive communication. Introduction: Charles E. Osgood and Wilbur Schramm are two prominent communication scholars who contributed to the field with their model of communication. Although they didn't collaborate on a single model together, their individual models are often discussed together due to their complementary nature. Osgood's model of communication. Osgood's circular model. Osgood proposed a circular model deviating from traditional linear model of communication. He proposed a circular model of communication emphasizing the cyclical nature of communication process. Message transformation. Osgood introduced the concept of message transformation, highlighting the messages may undergo changes in meaning during the communication process. The sender encodes the message and receiver decodes it. But this encoding and decoding process is not straightforward transfer of information. The message may be altered or transmitted based on interpretation of the receiver. Feedback. A key feature of Osgood's model is the emphasis on feedback. Feedback is not just a response but an integral part of communication process. It plays a crucial role in adjusting and refining the communication. The feedback received from the receiver influences how the sender shapes subsequent messages. Context. Osgood recognized the importance of context in communication. The meaning of the message is not solely determined by words used, but is also influenced by the context in which the communication occurs. Context provides the framework for interpreting messages, and the circular nature of the model implies that the context can evolve over time. Semantic differential. Osgood is well known for his development of semantic differential technique. This method involves rating concepts or words on a scale to measure and analyze the connotation meaning attached to them. The semantic differential contributes to understanding the nuances of language and how words can carry different meanings for different individuals. Cyclical nature. The circular nature of Osgood's model signifies the communication in an ongoing and cyclical process. It does not have a distinct beginning or end, and feedback loops continuously shape and reshape the communication. Subjectivity. Osgood's model acknowledges the subjectivity in the interpretation of messages. The receiver brings their own experiences, attitudes and values to the communication process, influencing how they decode and understand the message. Practical implications. Osgood's model has practical implications for communication in various settings, including interpersonal communication, mass communication and organizational communication. Understanding the dynamic and circular nature of communication can guide individuals and organizations in crafting more effective messages and responding adaptively to feedback. Osgood's model of communication provides a holistic view of communication as a continuous, interactive and transformative process. It emphasizes the importance of feedback, context and dynamic nature of meaning in communication interactions. Schramm's model of communication. Wilbur Schramm's model of communication, often considered in conjunction with Charles E. Osgood's ideas, is an interactive model that highlights the reciprocal nature of communication. Schramm's model builds on the linear models that preceded it, offering a more dynamic and two-way understanding of communication process. Interactive model. Schramm's model is interactive, suggesting that communication is back and forth exchange between sender and receiver. It moves away from the linear sender message receiver structure to a more dynamic and mutual process. Field of experience. Schramm introduced the concept of field experience, emphasizing that both the sender and receiver bring their own unique backgrounds, cultures and experiences to communication process. The idea acknowledges that the interpretation of messages is influenced by the individual's past experiences and cultural context. Encoding and decoding. Similar to Osgood's model, Schramm recognizes the encoding and decoding of messages. However, Schramm emphasizes the active role of both the sender and receiver in the process. The sender encodes a message and receiver decodes it, but both processes involve interpretation, and receiver may also send feedback. Feedback and adjustment. Feedback is a key element in Schramm's model, allowing for adjustments in ongoing communication process. The feedback loop enables the sender to understand how the message is being interpreted and make necessary adjustments, creating a more responsive and adaptive communication dynamic. Contextual understanding. Schramm's model acknowledges the significance of context in communication. The meaning of a message is not solely determined by words used, but is also influenced by the context in which the communication occurs. Understanding the context helps both the sender and receiver in interpreting messages accurately. Two-way communication. Schramm's model challenges the notion of communication as a one-way street. Instead, it emphasizes that communication is a two-way process where both parties are actively engaged in sending and receiving messages. Dynamic nature. Communication in Schramm's model is seen as dynamic and ever-changing process. The sender and receiver continuously influence each other and the communication process evolves over time. Practical applications. The interactive and dynamic nature of Schramm's model has practical applications in various communication settings, including interpersonal communication, mass media and organizational communication. It encourages communicators to be mindful of the ongoing interaction, seek feedback and adapt their messages to ensure effective communication. Schramm's model of communication is interactive, emphasizing the importance of the field of experience, feedback and the active roles of both sender and receiver. It provides a more nuanced understanding of communication as a dynamic and reciprocal process. Similarities between Osgood and Schramm's model of communication. Here are some key similarities between Osgood and Schramm's model. Cyclical nature. Both Osgood and Schramm introduced models that deviate from traditional linear communication models. They emphasize the cyclical and interactive nature of communication, suggesting that it is an ongoing and iterative process rather than a one-time event. Feedback. Both models recognize the importance of feedback in the communication process. Feedback is not merely a process, but is seen as an essential element for refining and adjusting ongoing communication. Subjectivity. Osgood and Schramm acknowledge the subjective nature of communication. Both models recognize that the interpretation of messages is influenced by individual experiences, attitudes and the context in which the communication occurs. Message transformation. Osgood's concept of message transformation aligns with Schramm's emphasis on encoding and decoding in interactive manner. Both models recognize the meaning of a message can undergo changes during the communication process. Context. Both models underscore the significance of context in shaping the meaning of messages. The context in which communication takes place is crucial for interpreting messages accurately. Active roles of sender and receiver. While Osgood's model highlights the encoding and decoding of messages and Schramm's emphasizes the interactive nature of communication, both models emphasize the active role of both the sender and the receiver in shaping and influencing the communication process. Dynamic nature. Osgood's circular model and Schramm's interactive model both depict communication as a dynamic process. The communication dynamics evolve over the time through interaction between sender and receiver. Practical applications. Both models have practical applications for effective communication in various settings, including interpersonal communication, mass communication, and organizational communication. They encourage communicators to consider feedback, context, and dynamic nature of the communication process. While these similarities exist, it is also important to note that Osgood and Schramm had their unique contribution and perspectives. Osgood's model, for example, is often associated with semantic differential technique, while Schramm's model is known for introducing the concept of field of experience. Understanding these models in conjunction provides a more comprehensive view of communication theory. Examples for Osgood and Schramm's model of communication. Osgood's model examples. Scenario: giving and receiving feedback in a workplace presentation. Circular nature: a team member gives a presentation on project proposal in a team meeting. The presentation is not just a one-way transfer of information, it initiates a communication cycle. Other team members respond with questions and comments. Message transformation: during the presentation, the speaker uses specific terms and examples to convey ideas. However, team members may interpret these differently based on their understanding and experiences. The initial message undergoes transformation during the question and answer session. Feedback: team members provide feedback on the presentation, offering insights, experiencing concerns, or seeking clarification. This feedback is crucial for the speaker to adjust and refine their message for better understanding. Context: the context of presentation, including the project background and team dynamics, influences how the message is perceived. The circular model emphasizes that the context is continuously evolving as communication progresses. Scenario 2: launching a new product. Circular nature: the advertising campaign begins with the creation and dissemination of promotional materials introducing a new product. Consumers see the advertisements and react to them. The circular nature comes into play as consumer responses, that is purchase, enquiries, feedback, become part of the feedback loop. Message transformation: the initial advertising message is carefully crafted to highlight the features and benefits of the new product. However, individual consumers may interpret the message differently based on their needs, preferences, and prior experiences. The message transforms as it reaches various segments of target audience. Feedback: consumer feedback is crucial for the success of the campaign. Marketers track consumer responses through sales data, social media engagement, and customer enquiries. Positive feedback may signal effective communication, while negative feedback may prompt adjustments to the advertising strategy or product presentation. Context: the context in which consumers encounter the advertising campaign play a significant role. The effectiveness of the message can vary based on cultural, social, or economic factors. advertisers need to consider the context in which their audience receives and interprets the messages. Schramm's model example. Scenario 1. Online education interaction. Interactive nature. A teacher conducts an online class using a video conferencing platform. The teacher presents information and students actively engage by asking questions, participating in discussions through chat features and providing real-time feedback. Field of experience. Each student in the online class comes from a diverse background with unique experiences, cultural influences and prior knowledge. The teacher acknowledges this diversity and adapts the lesson to resonate with varied field of experience of the students, ensuring that the content is relatable and accessible to all. Encoding and decoding. The teacher encodes information through verbal explanations, visual aids and multimedia elements in virtual presentation. Students decode this information based on their understanding, asking clarifying questions or seeking additional information as needed. This process is ongoing and iterative throughout the class. Feedback and adjustment. Students provide immediate feedback through chat feature, raising virtual hands or using emojis to express understanding or confusion. Thus, teacher, recognizing the importance of feedback, adjusts the pace of lesson, clarifies concepts and addresses questions in real time to enhance student comprehension. Dynamic nature. The online class is dynamic and ever evolving. The teacher's response to students' question and feedback shape the direction of the lesson. Likewise, students' engagement and understanding evolve as the class progresses, creating a dynamic and interactive learning environment. Scenario 2. Interactive social media campaign. Interactive nature. An interactive advertising campaign is launched on social media platforms. Consumers are encouraged not only to view ads but also to actively engage by commenting, sharing and participating in polls or contests. This turns the advertising process into an ongoing dialogue. Field of experience. Consumers bring their unique backgrounds and experiences to the interaction. An effective advertising campaign considers the diverse perspectives of target audience, tailoring messages to resonate with different segments based on their field of experience. Encoding and decoding. Advertisers encode messages in various formats such as images, videos and text. Consumers decode these messages based on their individual preferences and interpretations. The interactive nature allows for immediate responses, enabling advertisers to adjust their strategies in real time. Feedback and adjustment. Social media provides a platform for instant feedback. Consumers' comments, likes, shares and other interactions serve as feedback for advertisers. Adapting to the feedback, whether through addressing concerns, incorporating popular suggestions or modifying the campaign, is crucial for maintaining a positive consumer relationship. Dynamic nature. The advertising campaign is dynamic with new content being generated and shared regularly. Advertisers can analyze real-time data to understand how consumers are engaging with the campaign and make dynamic adjustments to optimize its impact. Application in digital world. The models proposed by Charles E. Osgood and Wilbur Schramm find significant application in digital world, where communication is dynamic, interactive and often occurs through various online platforms. Application of Osgood's model. Circular nature in social media. Social media platforms embody the circular nature of Osgood's model. Users post content and their followers provide comments, likes and shares. This creates a continuous loop of communication where feedback is essential for shaping subsequent posts. Message transformation in email marketing. In email marketing campaigns, businesses send messages to subscribers. However, each subscriber may interpret the message differently based on their needs and preferences. Feedback such as open rates and click-through rates help marketers understand how message is transformed in the recipient's minds. Feedback in online reviews. Osgood's emphasis on feedback is particularly relevant in digital world, where users often provide feedback through online reviews. Businesses can use this feedback to adjust their products, services or communication strategies in response to customer opinions. Contextual advertising. Advertisers in the digital space can leverage Osgood's model by considering the context in which their ads are displayed. Tailoring ads based on user behavior, preferences and online activities ensures that the message is more relevant and meaningful to the audience. Application of Schramm's model. Interactive nature in social media conversations. Social media platforms exemplify Schramm's interactive model. Users engage in conversations through comments, direct messages and shared content. The field of experience is evident as individuals with diverse backgrounds contribute to dynamic and interactive discussion. Field of experience in content personalization. Content platforms such as streaming services or news websites use algorithms to personalize content based on users' preferences and past interactions. This acknowledges and incorporates Schramm's concept of the field of experience to enhance user engagement. Encoding and decoding in online chat platforms. Online chat platforms and messaging apps illustrate the encoding and decoding process in real time. Users encode their messages through text, emojis or multimedia and recipients decode these messages, often responding immediately. This two-way communication reflects Schramm's emphasis on active role of both sender and receiver. Feedback and adjustment in e-commerce. In e-commerce sector, feedback on product reviews, ratings and customer comments provides valuable insights. Retailers can use this feedback to adjust their product offerings, improve customer service and enhance overall online shopping experience. Dynamic nature in live streaming. Live streaming platforms showcase the dynamic nature of communication. Creators interact with viewers in real time through comments, questions and live polls. This dynamic interaction allows content creators to adapt their content based on immediate audience feedback. In the digital world, Osgood and Schramm's model remain relevant frameworks for understanding and improving communication strategies. Whether through social media, email, online reviews or personalized content, these models provide valuable insights for navigating the complexities of communication. Significance of Osgood and Schramm's model. Osgood's model. Understanding message transformation. Osgood's emphasis on message transformation highlights the complexity of communication, recognizing that messages can be interpreted differently by receivers is crucial for effective communication strategies, especially in diverse and multicultural settings. Importance of feedback. The circular nature of Osgood's model emphasizes the significance of feedback in communication process. Feedback provides valuable information about how messages are received and interpreted, allowing communicators to adjust and refine their messages for better understanding. Contextual relevance. Osgood's model underscores the importance of considering the context in which communication occurs. This is particularly relevant in globalized world where cultural nuances and situational factors play a significant role in shaping the meaning of messages. Schramm's model. Interactive communication. Schramm's model introduces the idea of interactive communication, emphasizing that communication is a two-way process. This is especially relevant in contemporary communication settings, such as social media and online forums where users actively engage in conversations. Field of experience. Recognizing the field of experience in communication is crucial for understanding the diversity of perspectives that individuals bring to communication process. This is particularly important in addressing varied audience segments with different backgrounds, beliefs and values. Real-time adjustment. Schramm's model encourages real-time adjustments in communication based on feedback. In today's fast-paced digital environment where information spreads rapidly, the ability to adapt and respond quickly to audience feedback is essential for maintaining relevance and effectiveness. Challenges of Osgood's and Schramm's model. Osgood's model: simplicity versus complexity. Osgood's model, while valuable for its simplicity, may oversimplify the intricacies of communication. In real-world situation, factors such as power dynamics, emotions and non-verbal cues can significantly impact the interpretation of message. Limited emphasis on technology. Osgood's model was developed in an era where communication technology was not as advanced as it is today. The model might not fully address the challenges and opportunities presented by digital communication platforms and the rapid evolution of technology. Schramm's model: assumption of symmetry. Schramm's model assumes symmetry in communication, where both the sender and receiver have equal roles. In certain situations, such as mass media or organizational communication, power imbalances may exist, challenging the model's applicability. Dynamic nature and overload. The dynamic nature of Schramm's model, while reflective of real-time adjustments, can also present challenges, particularly in digital environments with information overload. Constant adjustments might lead to communication fatigue or confusion among users. Field of experience. Complexity. Considering the field of experience can be complex, especially in diverse and globalized contexts. Adapting communication strategies to cater various fields of experience may require extensive research and nuanced understanding of cultural, social and individual differences. Summary: Charles E. Osgood's circular model and Wilbur Schramm's interactive model have significantly contributed to the understanding of communication processes. Osgood's model emphasizes the cyclical nature of communication, highlighting the importance of feedback, message transformation and considering the context. Meanwhile, Schramm's model introduces the interactive nature of communication, emphasizing the role of both sender and receiver, the field of experience and dynamic adjustments based on feedback. Both models underscore the subjectivity of interpretation and the impact of individual experiences on communication. While Osgood's model provides insights into transformation of messages and importance of context, Schramm's model complements this by emphasizing the interactive and dynamic aspects of communication. Together, these models offer valuable frameworks for understanding communication in various contexts, from interpersonal relationships to advertising campaigns, and provide a foundation for navigating the complexities of the digital world. Thank you.